Hey, this is JP with Central Idaho Mountain Weather. It's January 12th, 2026, looking out at Old Hindman in the Pioneers. And if you're still enjoying this broadcast, we ask you to do a one-time donation or even better, sign up for that monthly sustaining membership. We're going to have thin cloud coverage. So what's that mean? It means the sun's going to be poking through, but not be full blast. There'll be periods where it's kind of going through more. But we just have some clouds dipping over that ridge today. And we're going to have high pressure continuing till probably the 20th, 21st before we get moisture. So we're going on to a big dry period of inversions strengthening each day. Looking out at the satellite reel this morning, we have our high pressure. Forgot to draw this on here, out here. I mean, we're pretty much in high pressure right now, but you can see that most of that is just, most of the jet stream is to our north, and we were just going to have a little bit of cloud coverage spill over that today. I'm going to show you the cloud forecast. So these are some different layers of clouds. High level, which is our red, is usually cirrus, which are thin clouds. And when we get into our greens, that's usually bringing us precip. So we're not going to have too many greens. They're going to stay mostly to our north, but you can see we are going to have some thickening cirrus clouds today. So we'll have periods of sun, mostly towards the end of the day getting sunny, and then starting out tomorrow about the same thickness, and then getting cloudier as the day progresses towards sunset. Looking at the the forecast for 6 to 10 days out, we are above normal for temperatures. We are below average for precip. So this is signaling that dry air overhead until about the 21st. That breaks down, and then we move into near normal conditions. So not going to get hit with any big moisture, but it's opening up the door for storms to come back in there. Okay, let's look at what's going on with the 500 millibar chart. We're looking at the GFS model. So you can see that high pressure is starting to build. Thursday or Wednesday builds pretty high. You can see that ridge building pretty high up in there. But then if we move on through the week, it looks like there might be a slight disturbance on Thursday. That's probably just going to queue up some clouds to spill over the ridge. I'm not actually seeing that on the MBM. But then you look at Friday and Saturday, and that ridge really amplifies. So we get more of a shape of this ridge. And then on that ridge, we are going to see this thing really amplify. And if you see the axis of this ridge, draw this out the best I can here. So if we take the high point here and drew a line down on the ridge, it's pointed a little bit to the right to begin with. So when this cool air comes over the top, and depending on where this the center of the high pressure ridge is, so it's centered just off the coast of Oregon and Washington. This cool air is gonna spill up and over and probably just go across the eastern side of the divide and with cooler air. So gonna miss us with that cooler air. But as this thing moves further on, play this forward a little bit, kind of get a little bit more shift Saturday, so that axis is a little bit more, I keep going to the wrong thing. The axis is pointed more to the right. So that is going to shift the cooler weather even further to our east. So all depending on where that axis of that ridge is where we're going to get that cooler air. and right to the right of the axis is going to be fair weather, so nothing really happening. So that's the deal until we play this forward all the way until right about here on the 20th. You can start to see that the ridge actually forms up more in Alaska and pushes out to the coastline or further out into the Pacific, which is good. So that's going to allow that moisture to spill over and actually get in contact with us here in Idaho. So that's what we pretty far out to look at when we might get that moisture, but that's what's happening. As far as temperatures go, tomorrow Tuesday looks like it's going to be our highest temperatures for in the valley, approaching the mid 40s in the Wood River side, and then we'll go down keep about that for the continuing period. But you can see lots of big highs and lows with those inversions that we'll be getting. Looking at upper elevation, Wednesday looks like it's going to be the peak of high temperatures as we get into the mountains, and it's just maybe going to touch into 40. Now, as far as melting snow goes, it certainly, when you get above 32 degrees, you're going to start to see more effect on that, but it's going to be more on the south-facing slopes that are getting UV light and air temperature warming. On the north-facing slopes, in my past experience, you need to really get into the low to mid 40s for a crust to form on north-facing slopes. So at this point, I'm not really super scared about forming crust out there for ski quality, but it is on my radar and it is a possibility. So we'll see what happens as we get closer.